I'm doing it right now.
I think I could run it. It'd have to be like a certain level of spooky. Like it'd have to be more thrillery
Oh,
than
right.
straight up horror.
Yeah, not too much
Um,
gore.
right, right. Which I think you could do. Like you could make a PG version.
Sure.
Um, I'm sure I have more students down for that than I think I would really want.
Right.
Um, yeah. But my kids are so okay. So this population right now has grown up on Five Nights at Freddy's,
Yep.
and I guess Labubus are currently super popular in my school. So that like creepy, they like that creepiness. They like Slender Man. They like.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
My
Mm-hmm.
daughter is
So
seventh grade, and she loves the scary parts of Stranger Things. She loves,
yeah,
that same kind of thrill sort of entertainment for sure.
Hmm.
yeah. So yeah, they would. The issue is also that my kids are also obsessed with Squid Games.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. My daughter. I don't know why I allowed her to watch that. That is the most
Why?
violent thing I've
We
ever
need
seen.
John. John, we need to talk about this. As a teacher, why did you allow your child to just watch Squid Games? Because I am being tortured. My kindergartners love it. My
Oh,
kinders,
oh my
six year
gosh.
olds.
That's
What are
crazy.
you doing? Why
That's
did you
crazy.
just let your child go wild? Are they not on Netflix Kids? Are they not on Netflix Kids?
Yeah, yeah. I would never have let my daughter at that age watch. At least that I can claim.
Okay. Well, here we are.
Here we are, once more into the deep
It would be fun. I think a spooky game would be fun.
with the
I think they
kids.
would enjoy it. I also wish so here we could even do the like the 10 candles. I think they would really enjoy. However, can't have candles at school. So like I need the like the kid safe, the school safe version of 10 candles. I think they
Like
would
a
love.
like a battery that's already almost dead kind of thing.
Or there needs to be like a I guess a timer. You could do a
Yeah,
timer.
but I think they'd still appreciate that. I mean, if they haven't experienced the actual flames, I think it'll be fine. Because
Yeah.
man, do kids love things that are dangerous. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Dungeons and Degrees. My name's Adrian,
And I'm Alex.
and today we're with John, head producer, Goblin of Beadles and Grimm.
Hey everyone.
It's lovely to it's lovely to talk with you.
Great to be
Yay.
here.
Yeah. I got some just messages saying, "Hey, let's talk about Dragon Delves," and I'm like, "Listen, I already was able to get talk. Blah, blah, blah. I got to play and talk about. Oh my gosh! Now that I'm trying to remember it, I'm losing the ring, and then you fight everybody, and
Oh,
you have
Ring of
parties.
Chaos.
Thank you, Ring of
Yeah.
Chaos. And I had a good time with my family. It did delve into like we have to beat up on the guy that's winning,
Yes.
which was kind of fun still.
Yes,
Who did
yes.
you have to beat up on? Who was it? Who was
Guy,
winning?
my father. It's
Champion.
because Dante took an early lead, and
Okay.
then we everybody attacked him, but then the finishing blow was my dad, and he took all the points, and then we were having issues trying to because he was just running away, and I couldn't get a good range. It was fun. So I had a good time playing Ring of Chaos.
Oh, good.
So
Good.
yeah, so I would love to talk about your newest one, Dragon Delves.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, how did it come about?
So Dragon Delves. For those who don't know, we're a licensee of Wizards of the Coast, and we sort of made our name making premium editions of Dungeons and Dragons adventures. And so Dragon Delves is the newest Dungeons and Dragons adventure. It's 10 short adventures that are all dragon themed, and it is releasing in early May. In early July. And so
Hmm.
we're hoping to release our edition right after they release the book so that people can use both to run
Hmm.
that campaign. And so Dragon Delves, like I said, it's 10 short dragon themed adventures. And what we do with our premium editions is we give dungeon masters the the elements that they need to create an immersive experience at the table. So we are going to give you in that box 22 different battle maps that you can lay out on the table, put your minis down on, and have at it. There are 28 encounter cards, which hang on the DM screen and have art on the front for the players to see what they're fighting, and the stat
Hmm.
block on the back so that the DM has easy access. We also have some in world handouts in there. We have an Orcus amulet, like a holy symbol amulet in
Oh
there
yeah.
that will come into play in one of the adventures. And yeah, a couple of other cool, like a DM aid that helps the DM figure out how to take all 10 adventures and weave them into a single long campaign.
How long does it take to kind of like, hey, we're gonna do like these maps or all the maps, and we're gonna do this nice, cool custom item for this specific one? What's the decision making behind, uh, I guess, the screen, with making these products?
Yeah, so we partner with Wizards of the Coast, right, with the D&D team. So everything that we do, we put in front of them, we discuss with them, we get approval from them. But in the early stages, what we do is we read the adventures, and then the folks at Beadle and Grimm's, we all huddle up and we say, okay, what makes sense? Well, in this adventure, there's a big boss fight with the dragon at the end. We have to have a battle map for that. There's a letter that they receive from a patron in the beginning of the adventure. Wouldn't that be cool to be able to hand them the letter instead of just reading it to them out of the book? So we should create that. We look for opportunities for things like badges and holy symbols, something where we can throw in a little eye popper, something where everybody at the table is going to go, ooh, oh, that is cool. Let me grab that. Let me hold that. And so, sometimes we have to search a little deeper than others. Like we did a box for Vecna, Eve of Ruin.
Hmm.
And that whole adventure is all around the Rod of Seven Parts. And so it made sense for us to create this massive 3 foot long acrylic rod of seven parts with seven interlocking parts so that each time you found a part of the rod, the DM could hand you the piece that shows you what the
Hmm.
magical powers of it are, but you could also
Yeah.
put it on the table and build it in each session as you found each part of that rod of seven parts. So sometimes it's really obvious like that, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes we have to sort of look at it and say, all right, if I was a DM, what would be really cool? Like, and could I
Hmm.
reuse it? It's reusability is a factor too.
Oh yeah. Oh, I thought you were gonna say something. You just unmuted.
I'm sorry. I keep flipping. I'm flipping through all of these now. So I'm just on the website because I just want to see what's going on here,
Yeah.
and it's that's a lot. I think for the ADHD in me, I'm like, yeah, listen, you've got me focused in these trinkets. I love a trinket. And then all of the maps. Is it like one artist for all of the maps in each box, or do you source different artists throughout the entire campaign?
It depends on the box. We've done it multiple ways. Sometimes we will have a product that has, maybe 8 maps, and we'll say, you know what, we're going to use the same artist for all 8 maps. Sometimes we are taking more advantage of the maps that are already in the product and just blowing them up. And so
Mm-hmm.
if D&D used 4 different cartographers, we end up using those 4 different cartographers and just, making them table ready, if you will.
Hmm.
But that's one of the best parts of my job is going to these talented artists and cartographers and illustrators and saying, "This is our vision. This is what we want," and watching them come to us with like glorious pieces.
That is one thing I do really like about Wizards of the Coast and their like maps. They're so pretty and they look really fun to play in. But I never even thought about part of like an artist's job would be to actually be able to make maps, and like you could essentially do that. Like as an artist, you could just be a map maker,
Yeah,
which is so fun.
yeah. There are a few like household names in that industry, like Dyson Logos and Mike Schley and Devin Rue. Those are folks who are some of the most famous cartographers. They've done a lot of D&D work. We use a cartographer called Stinky Goblin. Uh, we have used him for years. Super, super talented. Love his style, and yeah, and that's we've been leaning on his talent for a long time.
That's fun. I mean, it works with your aesthetic of like being head producer goblin. We have stinky goblin as well in the works. Just everything's just working together
That's right.
thematically.
That's right. That's right. Yeah,
um,
make no mistake, Stinky Goblin is very talented.
um, how much ahead of the like before the release are you given access in order for you to create your product?
Yeah, so we get different stages of release. So
Mm,
we might hear about the outline of a product a year ahead of time. And then we might get a what they call a one up, which is just a file that shows all of the art that they're working on, so that we get an idea of what the maps look like, about what kind of art is going to be available, what the tone is, what the style is, right? And then later down the road, they'll say, okay, here's the approved text.
Hmm.
And then finally, at the end, they'll say, okay, here's the full file that went to the printer. Now you can take that and do a lot of the stuff that you do with that. Like you take the monsters and the monster art and create your encounter cards, or you take the book itself and break it out into smaller books. So there's a lot of stages to that, and some of the things that we do, like you can imagine, like a necklace, like an iron or steel necklace, a metal necklace, is going to take a
hmm.
little bit longer than a
Yeah,
flyer that we're printing. And
Hmm.
so some of the things that we put in the box have longer, uh, you know, production timelines that we have to start
right.
earlier. But yeah, it's a process.
When kind of like looking at artist, or is it usually just the Wizard of the Coast, or is there people you've like found along the way when looking for people to do cartography or pieces of art for your project?
Yeah, it's both. It's both. It when we're doing a D&D product, it helps to have artists who have worked for D&D. They
Mm,
know, they've been through the ringer, they know what not to do and what to do. So that really helps, and we look for that. But that being said, we do a lot of projects that aren't D&D, and
right.
so we could use some of those D&D artists who we've created great relationships with, but we could also go outside of that pool and use somebody that we might have been put onto through Magic the Gathering, or someone that we worked with on a Darrington Press product. Darrington Press is
Hmm.
the publishing arm of Critical Role, for anybody who doesn't
Hmm.
know. So yeah, we worked with both.
Okay. You reach out to these other communities for this other things that you're working on. Okay, that's cool. You, Alex.
Yeah. What would your, I guess since we're talking about art and we focused around there, if you were going to give advice to somebody who was trying to break into this field, um, and who wanted to work with, I guess with y'all or with anybody else, what would your advice be for them?
Breaking into the field of like illustrator, or do you mean breaking into the I want to create D&D accessories field? Which do you mean?
Let's go with the first one.
Okay. Um well, if you want to be an illustrator, obviously, you have to have the talent. I mean, there's just no way around that. But
Yeah.
once you have the talent and once you've practiced your craft as long as it takes to be as good as you need to be, you're going to want to create an ArtStation account. ArtStation is a website where artists go and they put up their work. I'm Anytime someone contacts me and says I'm an artist, the first place I
Mhm.
go is I go to ArtStation and I look at their work. I look at what they've done in the past. I look at their style. I see if it's the right fit for us. So you want to be able to find those websites where you can show off your work. Something like Magic the Gathering and D&D, those are good places to reach out to because those are the places that need a lot of art, right?
Mhm.
They have large demand. We don't. Where sometimes we're using their art for something, and
Mhm.
occasionally we will need additional art. But our volume is nowhere near someone like like the Magic the Gathering folks or the
Hmm.
D&D folks,
Right.
or you might look at someone like Paizo who does Pathfinder, right? Those are the or Kobold Press. Those are the folks who are doing monster books that have 400 monsters in them and they need art for every one of those. So those are the kinds of folks that I would recommend someone who wants to break into this business sort of reach out to and try and get their foot in the door.
I love that. How did y'all get started?
Yeah. Say that again. Sorry, I didn't hear it.
So we got started. So one of the folks at Beadle Grimm's is Matthew Lillard, and Matthew Lillard has been like all of us who started this company, a lifelong gamer. And Matthew was invited to a early D&D stream called the Stream of Many Eyes, and this was for the release of Tomb of Annihilation. Um, oh no, sorry, Stream of Many Eyes was for Waterdeep. And after one of those events, we all got together and said, you know what? If I'm a dungeon master who has no time because I'm maybe a little bit older, I've got kids, I've got two jobs, whatever it is, I don't have the time to create the handouts and the maps and everything else, but maybe I have a little bit of extra income. Where is that collector's
Mhm.
edition of a D&D adventure, like if you are a Pearl Jam fan and you want the platinum collector's edition of the album that has all the liner notes, has all the background information, you're willing to spend for that. Like, where is that for D&D? And so we, through Matthew, who was already um, working with D&D to help promote D&D, we went to them and said, hey, we have this idea to create a platinum edition of one of your adventures. And we did all the work to create a prototype without any, assurances that they were going to say yes. So we did all the legwork, we created a prototype. We went in there and said, this is kind of what we're thinking. This is what you would expect to see. They looked at it and said, wow, what a great idea. Let's have you do it. And our first box was for Waterdeep Dragon Heist, and that one went well, and we just went from there.
And when you say Matthew Lillard, do you mean like Shaggy Matthew? Are we talking about the same person, or is there just like two Matthew?
No, we are talking about the same person. Yes, Five Nights at Freddy's. Scooby
Yeah.
Doo. Yes.
Cool. I heard, I was like, no, we're not. There's like two Matthew Lillards, right? There's
No, he is a an advocate of gaming, and he is one of us.
obsessed. I'm sorry. As like a 90s kid, obsessed with him. So,
Sure, sure.
yeah. Adrian, no? Adrian, do you know who we're talking about? You're also on mute, or you're not speaking.
Mute. I am on mute. I am on mute.
Okay.
No, I knew. I knew. I looked at the page. I did
What do
some
you mean you
research.
knew? You knew?
Yeah, I saw the face. I'm like, that guy looks familiar. Looked it up. That's where. Okay, I'm not gonna tell Alex because Alex is gonna act up. Look, already red in the face.
Alex is gonna act up. Listen, it's fine. I don't know why. It was Shaggy. Shaggy got it for me.
He's yes.
With what's called these projects, is there something kind of new, inventive that you kind of want to see be able to be placed into one of your like premium edition boxes that you haven't like got the logistics for yet, that you're kind of like working on?
Let me think about that. We've got some. So we just announced that we're going to be doing a legendary edition of a D&D adventure that is well known, that was published about 10 years ago, called Tyranny of Dragons. It's one of their
Hmm.
classics, and we're working on a legendary edition of that. And we're in the process of figuring out what are those like artifacts, what are those high production value items that are going to be in there. And we have some ideas, and we're not quite sure if they're going to work.
Mm.
If I shared them with you, I'd have to kill you. So I'm not gonna say too much about
I
those items.
appreciate that.
But but yeah, I mean, there's always, when we did, I think I told you we did an acrylic rod of 7 parts, a lay
Right, right.
flat acrylic rod of 7 parts. Well, when we were first thinking about that, we actually considered doing an actual like
Mhm.
like a metal rod that you could swing around and hold and that lit up. And we went pretty far down that path, and that's something that we weren't ultimately able to pull off, and ended up really liking what we did end up having because it was
Mhm.
more. It felt more true to D&D. It was usable. It wasn't just a toy or like a tchotchke prop, right? It was something that you could hand to a player and they could look at what that magic item does and actually
Mhm.
use it in the game. But that's the kind of thing that we're constantly going back and forth on.
Gotcha.
As a purveyor of tchotchkes, I don't know if I would hate that. Like that option to
Right,
then
right, right.
purchase an actual rod, you know?
Yeah,
And then
no,
you have
no.
all of your like artifacts on the wall after you're complete and you're like, this is my GM wall. I've done all these things.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
Um
no,
also
no doubt there are a group of fans who would have loved that, and we've done stuff like that before. Like there's an adventure called Wild Beyond the Witchlight that D&D has
Mhm.
that's in the Fey realm, and the Platinum edition of that, when you opened it, it came with sets of wearable fairy wings
Yep. You
for
got
the
me.
whole table.
Adrian.
we don't see each other enough. We
Uh
can't, Adrian. We got to do this.
I'm
Alex,
just
come
saying.
down to
I'm just
San
saying.
Antonio.
It's fine.
Like, what do you want me to
I will sit
do?
on stream and wear the fairy wings. It's fine.
Oh my gosh.
You just gotta mail them all out. John, what's your favorite? What's your favorite adventure that y'all have
What's your
created?
favorite
Oh
child?
gosh.
Who's your favorite child? Yeah.
The
Go.
Sophie's Choice question.
Yes, yes, yes.
Um, boy, that's hard. I love so many of them. I'm gonna be selfish, and I'm gonna pick one that we currently have in stock because most of our boxes are sold out. That's sort of what we do is we create these curated, numbered collector editions, and they sell out. But our most recent platinum edition is Vecna Eve of Ruin, and we do still have those in stock. And that's my most recent platinum edition, and so that's the one that's sort of on my mind right now, and that I'm super proud of.
Will someone adopt this child, this Vecna's platinum child?
That's
Listen,
right.
I'm not gonna throw anything under. I'm not throwing John under the bus, but that's the most expensive one currently on the website.
I'm
So,
not foolish. I'm not
as
foolish.
a marketing person, you're doing great. That's so good. You're doing it perfectly. Yeah, do the most expensive one. Hell yeah.
Yeah, but our least expensive one is our most recent, the Dragon Delves. It's the one that
Mhm.
Okay.
we were talking about earlier, and that one is also super fun, especially if you are maybe a little newer to D&D, and or your adventuring group is lower level. You're going to want something like Dragon Delves. Vecna Eve of Ruin is epic, and it's for levels 10 through 20. It's for a more experienced DM, so it's definitely not for everybody.
10 to 20. Don't usually get to 20 in most games.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. So yeah, I pulled up the specs in the box, and that the Rod of Seven Parts. Okay, I see it now. I can see the vision. That
yeah.
is very much D&D. It's very cool. Yeah. No. That was y'all did a great job. Not that you need me to tell
A-
you, because who am I? But like, that's really
Adrian,
cool.
pull up the
No,
picture for
no,
the
please.
audience.
We
There you
we,
go.
we live for compliments. So.
Yeah, and
Give
that
them
one has a
more.
whole bunch of minis. So yeah, once again, I can see why it would be a favorite because it's got
Yeah,
all the little pieces.
but some of our products are much lower in price, but had as much, if not more, creative like input. So I'm going to take for example, we have a book of adventures for Candela Obscura. This is a horror game released by the folks over at Critical Role, Darrington
Mhm.
Press, and it is called Horrors of the Fairlands. And there are 8 adventures in that book, and we worked with writers. I wrote a couple of them. We worked with writers to write those. We edited them. We put it all together in a book. That was a lot of work, but a lot of really creative, fun work. And super proud of that as well. And that's just, $40. That's a few coffees at Starbucks.
It's like 2 whole Starbucks orders for some people.
That's right.
Yeah. All the add-ons and everything.
Yeah, and then you throw food in there and like, yeah.
Listen, I'm not. I never go get coffee. I just kind of let things lay where they may. So most of the time.
I hit a Red Bull before we started recording today because I knew I was gonna need it, which is why I don't look like I'm dead after a full day of school. So next time I'm just gonna down a Red Bull.
Amazing.
Yeah,
We have
we'll see.
high energy, high velocity Alex today.
3 weeks of school left. Okay, 3 weeks. Can you imagine?
You
uh,
you are doing the good work.
I'm doing something.
yeah,
It's
no. I look this the nephew and the niece is gonna be home more often now. So
Yeah, they're feral, aren't they? They're
well, one's addicted to card games because I did that. That's on me.
that's your
Okay.
fault.
Yeah, that
You
is
did
my
that.
fault. And then the other one loves drawing and loves
K-pop.
Genshin Impact. Close. Something like K-pop. I don't know. So they're addicted to that, and I very unsuccessfully tried to convert the family into D&D or to tabletop. Schedules just don't come up. We don't line up. And there's so many things going on, especially when the kids have volleyball or practice, and they're having a concert right now for my niece. She's playing the percussion. I don't think it's exactly drums, but anyway, so like things are winding down, and then it's gonna be, hey Adrian, you want to play some cards? Hey Adrian, come on, let's go to the gym so I can play volleyball. Hey Adrian, I'm not. This is my first. This will be my first summer with these kids. So
When you say
It,
cards, does that include Magic?
I've only
no,
recently got into Magic.
no,
Okay.
Adrian, you are not allowed to get into Magic.
I've only bought 2
Okay, so
commander
John,
decks.
so this man has an addiction to One Piece, the card game, and also has that is a major addiction. The
Okay.
minor addiction is Lorcana,
Uh,
Oh, okay.
right? So that Disney money is in there
and
Yeah.
already.
then there's Pokemon, and then well, Magic's
Oh yeah, and
still at the
Pokemon.
game shop. Oh, and then there's Dragon Ball Z, another Bandai game, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, I mean, all my other friends are playing it at the card shop. Why should I should just try? Just look at it. Just take a look. Just a little deck. Just one deck. No problem. One deck won't hurt.
No, John, do you
I
play
would.
Magic?
Very infrequently. Very
Okay.
infrequently. We have other folks at Beadle and Grimm's who are much bigger Magic players. I'm more
Hmm.
the tabletop role playing side.
Okay.
Gotcha.
That's
Nah.
good. I'm proud of you for avoiding that addiction. Like you're strong, very strong-willed.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think if I had kids that were way into it, my daughter just isn't. But if I had kids that were way into it, I think I would have gotten sucked into it a long time ago.
Yeah. The expenditures, like, oh, now it's family stuff. It's family time. I'm
Yeah.
investing in my
That's
family,
right.
and I could
That's right.
I can delve a couple bucks for a nice shiny cardboard, because they're gonna look at it and they're like, wow, even though they'll forget about it when the next set comes out, but in that moment it is precious.
Right, right.
Ugh.
I know we talked about at PAX how you got into TTRPGs, but how did you get into TTRPGs on the podcast?
So, boy,
When dinosaurs roamed the earth.
back when water was first invented, I discovered a monster manual. And the art in that monster manual back in the 80s sometime just absolutely captivated me. I looked at the art of all these monsters and I looked at the stat blocks and then so from there I grabbed the player's handbook and the dungeon master's guide and I saw the art. I'm very visual. Like I love the art and the maps. Like I see a map and I have to delve into it. And so my brother and I started playing at a pretty young age and I've never stopped.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been a family thing. Me, my brothers, my friends. It's always been something that has sort of pulled us together and forced us to do something in the room at the table, right? Not
Mm-hmm.
just a video game or not just something online, which I really appreciate.
Yeah. That sense of community, I think, is one big factor that I adore about TTRPGs. Just we all can come together and write a story or fight some monsters or just sit at a table and play pretend. And like it does feel really good for your soul. And
No
especially
doubt.
getting to play with it, your brother or siblings or family.
Yeah, no, well said. I mean, look, if all else fails, I will definitely Zoom a game.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. But there's nothing quite like being able to go to my friend's house and sit at the table in the same
Yeah.
room, have some food and drink while we play, roll dice on the table, like that there's just there's just sort of nothing like that.
Yeah. But then that makes sense, right? So your love of the maps, of the actual monsters, of the things, that makes sense why your passion would then drive you into creating these platinum editions of the game because that's how you play the game,
Right.
right?
Right.
So it just clicks. It makes sense that's yeah, do
Yeah.
your passion.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, look, I'm the first to admit our audience, I'm sure, is dwindling as more and more people decide to play virtually. But there are still enough people who want to be in person that make our products viable. And so those are the people that we're trying to reach.
I think that, I mean, that just begs to say, like, okay, well, now we have a market shift. Now we gotta, how do we get online people? How do I create online assets?
Right.
Listen, I don't think I need the. As a person who mostly plays online, I would much rather play in person. If I could get a whole table in one room, I would absolutely buy all. I love the trinkets. I want the trinkets. So like, I would play a whole campaign. Maybe that is the next step for me. Stop. Me and my journey.
I
If I
can't
have a
move
community of
to
people,
Washington, D.C.
there's so many people. Oh, look, listen, I got people up there already. You don't.
Okay, okay.
You, Adrian, just because I move anywhere doesn't mean that I don't already have like people who I'm like. So here's a funny story. Okay. I did a workout. I'm in a workout community. And I've been there for years. Somebody came up through my Instagram and started following me through there. And I was like, I'll follow you back, right? Follow for follow, whatever. And then looked at her profile and I was like, oh, I'm about to move up. And then we've had this conversation just online of like, hey, I'm going to be in that area. You look like a cool person. Let's hang out. So, like, weird, but it happens. And maybe I can get them to play Dungeons and Dragons with me.
Definitely try.
Yeah. What are they gonna say? No, I hate fun.
That's how we're selling it. Do you like to have fun?
Right.
Do you like to play pretend? Do you want to topple a capitalistic hellscape? Come play Dungeons and Dragons.
That's right. That's right. There, because evil dictators are real, and you can topple them in Dungeons and Dragons.
It's true.
Please topple them in real life too, because I can't do this anymore. He posted a picture of himself as the Pope. What? I'm so sorry
This is
to date this podcast, but like,
we're in a strange timeline. Is all I'm
don't like
saying.
this
Like the
timeline,
multiverse
please.
has to be real because this cannot be the only option that we've come across.
Yeah, I mean, look, sometimes escaping into a fantasy world is necessary.
Oh yes,
it
100%.
is. It is.
Take control of your life within this realm.
That's right. That's right. Only long enough that you can refresh your energy, come back into the real life, and take up the good fight.
100%.
I agree.
100%. You guys had a what's it called purple worm killer or gosh
Right?
that happened at PAX U.
Yes.
How did that go off? How do you choose your players?
Yeah. So
I'm asking too many things. Sorry.
no, that's all right. So this is faster purple worm kill. This began as a TV show on the D&D Adventures channel. And what it is it's 4 intrepid first level characters go on a quest and get crushed by a massively powerful D&D monster. It's a TPK every time. And not only did it started as a TV show, but we have continued to do it as live shows at places like PAX Unplugged and Gen Con. And we're going to do it next month at Gen Con Canada. And we also created a book of adventures, of Faster Purple Worm Kill adventures that we kickstarted and is in production right now, or just finished production and is shipping now, that we're super excited about. And yeah, so what we do is for the show, for the TV show and for the live shows, we sort of mixed D&D luminaries, people who are experienced gamers, experienced streamers, with some people who were just like had maybe were friends of Matthew, or were in the entertainment industry, maybe only played D&D a couple of times, or maybe never at all, and we threw them all together and with some experienced DMs and had a great time.
Awesome. I think at the PAX U at PAX U you had Iffy, um, and we bumped into him, and then you're like, "You ready for the show?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's going on, right? This is happening now." Like it's like bumping into these kind of people I've seen within the space just at these conventions is just so kind of like mind-boggling to me because like no, that's the guy from the TV screen. Like that's not a real person.
Right. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
So
this is
Iffy
amazing.
Nawadaway
Hmm.
is someone who whenever we can, we recruit him to be in the show because he's an awesome live gamer, like especially for something like Faster Purple Worm Kill Kill, because Faster Purple Worm Kill Kill is D&D, but it also mixes in improv comedy. So
Hmm.
we are throwing these things at the performers that are unexpected. We're bringing people up from the audience to play things and to give it, and we're asking the audience for answers to certain questions and to throw out ideas for the players. And that's right up someone like Iffy's, like that's right up his alley. Like
Right, right.
he does improv for a living. And so yeah, we're looking for people like that, people who are quick on their feet, experienced gamers who can roll with anything, and he's
Right.
at the top of the list.
Nice. When you put on these shows, do you like as like some uh, sorry. As you put on these shows, do you kind of like feel like you some of the like core Beatles and Grimms would love to be on the stage too, but they can't because we have to fit a bunch of other people too into these games, or not everybody's there for the fanfare. They're just here to make some cool stuff.
I would say that you're right. Not everybody's here for the fanfare. Not everybody here is up for being on stage all the time. That that takes a certain, I don't know, kind of personality, right?
Mhm.
But that said, everybody at Beadle and Grimm's has been on the show. Charlie is one of us, and he has not only has he DM'd, but he's played. Paul has played. Matthew, obviously, whenever we can get Matthew in the game, and he's going to be at the game in Canada. He's also going to be in our Gen Con show. Matthew Lillard's going to be one of the performers at our Gen Con show, and our Gen Con show has like even a VIP section where you can stay afterwards and hang out with the cast, including Matthew. So we usually sell that out as well. So yeah, I think right now the only players that we've announced for Gen Con are Matthew
Hmm.
and Iffy. We have a couple of other people that we're trying to lock down, but we just their schedules are a little up in the air right now. But we should be able
Right,
to
right.
announce that soon.
Yeah, okay. Gotta eat, so you gotta find work wherever you can.
That's right.
Alex, are you interested in the VIP package?
I I see
Could
the
you
problem is
handle?
I
Yeah.
I okay. So very much like other things in my life. When I meet somebody that I've either admired or watch them, I forget how to form coherent words. I have never spoken in my life. I never attended any amount of schooling. I have no idea how to communicate. So then I just hover. I just do this weird hovering thing that I'm just like enamored and I want to listen to everything, but I don't remember how to form words or questions or. And then we leave the event, and for the next 3 to 4 business weeks, I'm thinking about all the things I could have been saying or could have been asking or could have been doing.
But
So, oh,
but
there Elijah Wood.
people.
I met
We've
Elijah Wood.
talked
I am
to
a nope.
some.
Nope. Something came over me, and me talking to Iffy at PAX Unplugged was that was a different person. I don't know who that person was. She was probably buzzing on caffeine.
I thought you were
I
about
met
to say
Elijah Wood.
ketamine. I'm like, whoa, I didn't know that.
What do you mean? No. I met Elijah Wood when I don't know, like before the COVID time, right? I was in middle school when Lord of the Rings came out, so I was at that prime age of adolescence where you become and you form these like giant crushes on people, right? In that time, I had this book, this binder with all of the things that I could find about Elijah Wood and Orlando Bloom. I have every single ticket stub from every viewing of the movie that I saw. And I saw like Fellowship of the Ring like 8 times in the theater. I have the newspaper clippings from anything related to Lord of the Rings, and then subsequently Pirates of the Caribbean. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Something I should have never told anybody in my life. Like this never needed to leave like me and my best friend. However, I met Elijah Wood and I told him all about this goddamn binder. And I was like, what the fuck are you saying? Like, as I'm actively talking to him, I'm like, girl, just shut the fuck up. Girl, we're good. We're good. We just let him go. You could literally talk about anything else. So no, Adrian.
So if you
I'm
want to
not
see that
interested in the
live,
VIP.
John, this person right here.
If it was for work, it'd be different, right? This is work. I could talk to anybody during work. As soon as I'm like a normal person, maybe that's it.
That's bizarre.
I was doing work.
There you go.
That's bizarre.
I don't know. I'm so sorry that I just spent
Well,
5 minutes talking about that.
maybe you should go as media instead of just as a fan, and then you'll be like, "Look,
Yeah.
I'm at work, and so I need to talk to Matthew Lillard as a reporter and not just as a fan."
You gonna give us those reporter passes?
We already have media.
No. These VIPs, he's not just gonna let us in for free, Adrian.
I know.
They gotta make that money.
I will make that money.
People
Listen,
aren't playing
those things
Dungeons
sell
and Dragons
out.
at a table anymore. He needs that money.
Very good points. Okay, my bad.
That's true. Are you going to be doing Faster Purple? Is that gonna be out in time for y'all to sell it at Gen Con or PAX Unplugged or any of the upcoming shows that y'all are doing?
Yes, we will have the book at Gen Con. That's going to be super exciting for us. So I'm sure we'll be signing it. We'll be selling it, signing it. We will have it. I don't know that we're going to have books to sign at Canada because that's just in a few weeks. But Gen Con for sure.
What is the day like that for your Kickstarter to be funded like so quickly? Like what was going behind the scenes?
Yeah, I mean, it's Kickstarter is a crazy beast, right? Because your mind starts to run away with you as far as how much could we make in this, right? So you start like the gamut of how well a Kickstarter could do. It could crash and burn. It could make ungodly amounts of money, and so it kind of screws with your head a little bit. So it's kind of hard to know: are we doing really well? Did we miss opportunities? No matter how much you make, you're always saying, did we screw something up? Could we have done much better than this? So that's sort of the tricky part about Kickstarter. But I have to say, for a book of original adventures that we never did before, we were very pleased with how that one did. And we're committed to hopefully being able to do a volume 2 in 2026.
Okay.
Awesome.
Hell yeah.
That's good to hear. Keep on
Double it.
creating.
Double that total.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think I would die. I think that would be so overwhelming for the Kickstarter to hit like $600,000 that I would just right then and there collapse.
Yeah. That.
Somebody's gonna have. Y'all are too old to have this happen to y'all, though. I'm so sorry. I remember.
Yes. Yes. We are. Yes. My heart will stop. Yes. I am.
Okay.
I am on the brink of death.
Me too.
Why
So
are you? Why? Yeah, I was about like you. You were like, Adrian, you're a baby. I'm so old, and then now someone is a little bit older than you. You're just like, yeah, that guy's
Yeah.
older.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
listen, if I'm almost on the brink of death, John's on the brink of death.
That's
Okay.
That's right. That's right. Every
Listen.
morning that I wake up is like, how did this happen?
Wow.
See?
We got lucky again. Let's roll the
Why?
dice.
At this point, it's all gravy.
Hell yeah. That's what I like to hear. As long as my back potentially gets better, I think I'll be okay. If not, I'm gonna be so sad.
Right.
Oh. When you sorry.
You overcame a lot for this question, Adrian.
Yeah.
It feels like you just revisited every life event.
Listen, the dynamic switch of where you're at and you accusing me of all these things of like you're so young, okay? It's just the hypocrisy. Just the hypocrisy. I just have to wash it away. It's just Alex, whatever.
Just sit here in the corner then.
Do you want to produce more events like dang it, I can only remember the last part. Purple Worm Kill Kill.
Mm-hmm.
Faster purple worm.
Thank you, Fast Purple Worm Kill Kill.
Do we want to do more events like that? Is your
Yeah, well, not exactly Kill Kill, but other things that you create or like show off these some other products as well.
Yeah, we are going to later this year. We're going to launch a Kickstarter for a D&D 5e supplement. It's an urban supplement, so it's going to have new subclasses, new feats, new spells, new equipment, all sort of urban focused. It's going to be called Skullduggery. And as part of launching that, we're going to be doing play testing, but we're also going to be streaming games using that set. And so our streaming, like doing streaming events, is going to be something that we do more of this year, particularly for that product. It's something that we've always kind of done. Like we did some streaming events when we launched Candela, and we did some streaming events for Faster Purple Worm. So it's something that we like to do to sort of help promote the launch of something. But I think that for Skullduggery, we're going to do it even more than we have in the past. And hopefully what we're able to do is grab some of these D&D luminaries, like people that you would recognize, but also invite just our customers and our fans to jump into some of these games and get to play with us and to play with them and experience that. So that we're looking forward to that.
Awesome. Reaching out over the interwebs, also showing off product as it is. Ugh. Yay! More games. Love more games. Love to hear it. Well, you think I'm disingenuous? What are you laughing at?
It's more games. I think any opportunity to watch people play games or play games yourself, like, absolutely. I know that our time playing with our friends from oh my god, Dimension 20. Oh my god. Rick
Perry.
Rick Perry. Yeah, I think playing with him and thinking about how he plays the game, especially because he's surrounded by people who play the game professionally. I then play the game better, right? Because because then it's a personal experience. I'm not just watching somebody play a TTRPG away from me and I'm like, oh, I don't know how to play it like that. But then you literally have somebody sitting at your table and you're like, no, I could step up and be a better player and here's how I'm going to do it. And just like watching sort of the back end. And
Yeah.
it doesn't feel edited, even though Dimension 20 isn't really like edited. It's still like just mystified enough that I'm like, I can't be a player like that. But then as soon as you take away all of the bells and whistles, you're like, no, I can do better.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's why a lot of people like to watch stuff like Critical Role. Like, this is what, top-notch role players do. This is what it's like. This is a role model for good gaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also remember to not hold everyone to that standard because they are professional voice actors.
That's
So
right.
if you want to get there, you need
hold
to
them
practice.
to the standard, Adrian. It's my new hot take now.
Matt Mercer or nothing.
My gosh. Alex, I guess you're not going to play anything until we meet Matt.
But once again, I haven't watched a lot of Critical Role, so I probably would be fine. It'd probably just be like a guide to me, right? It's fine. I'm not even gonna worry about my own brain. She's just weird sometimes.
She's on Red Bull.
She's on Red Bull.
One final question from me. Do you prefer being a player or a GM?
I would say I prefer being a GM. Yeah, I love the feeling of preparing a scene or a bunch of beats and watching players like react to that in a fun, unexpected way. I mean, I really get a kick out of that. I love playing too, but it's not the same level of involvement.
Jon, the puppet master. We see.
Yeah, I like storytelling. And as the GM, you have more responsibility for the storytelling.
Right.
Hopefully, if you're doing it right, it's not so much more. You're leaving it to the players to tell most of the story,
right?
But still.
All right, Alex. Any final questions?
Yes, but I know we're not going to get an answer out of Jon, so I'm going to leave that. I know. I was going to say, what's your least favorite of your
children?
Yeah, for your children. Yeah. Listen, as a child, I know the favorites. You don't have to go far to see which ones are our favorites.
Yeah, let me think about that. Is there one that I could? I mean, that's rough. Like so much blood and sweat and tears went into each of these. I'm trying to think if I could really call out one that is my least favorite. I might say. I hope nobody quotes me on this, but I might say Spelljammer, only because that genre is not really my thing. Like that adventures in space.
Mm-hmm.
Even though one of my favorite Faster Purple Worm Kill episodes was in Spelljammer, so maybe I should rethink that. But if I don't know that I would run a whole campaign in that setting. I'm not sure. How's that?
I love the straightforward answer.
Yeah,
listen, and it's I think but that's fair though. It's the one with the setting that you're not most likely to play yourself.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
For a fool,
people who love Spelljammer love that stuff.
All right.
Where
can they find
my
you,
spicy
Jon?
question?
Oh, you have a spicy question?
No. That was that. That was my spicy question.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Getting me to admit How
Your
dare
least
you?
favorite child. I know. I'm so sorry. It's a cousin. It's like the cousin of like I don't know. I hope none of my cousins listen to this because like they'll know.
It's like that political leader that you just can't get behind. It's like that. I'm not naming any names. I'm just saying. It's like, you know.
It's Taft, isn't it? It was Taft.
That's right. Right.
Andrew Jackson.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He
I
was.
got you.
He was. He just was. Did not know what he was doing. Megalomaniac.
Yeah.
It was out of
It's
control.
wild.
Hope to never see something like that ever again.
No.
Where can they find you, Jon?
Just please go to beadledgrims.com.
All right. Sounds
That's
good.
good. It's a solid one
Solid
place.
pitch. I have least work for me to do at the editing at the end.
Right.
Just one
beadledgrims.com.
URL.
You can find, you can also find Beadle and Grims on Insta and other social media platforms.
Thank you, dear listener, for joining us on another episode of Dungeons and Degrees. You can find us wherever pods are cast, so be sure to like, subscribe, hit all the 5 stars, share with your neighbors, your friends, your enemy to lover, your what is it? One bed trope. I don't care. Maybe not. I just went to a literary event. It's fine.
Yeah.
I definitely don't have a cookie that says forced proximity. It's fine. You can also help support us at Patreon at patreon.com/Dungeon and Degree, and be sure to like us on all of the social medias at Dungeon and Degrees.
Thank you so much for listening. My name's Adrian.
And I'm Alex. And that's Jon.
And I am Jon from Beadle and Grimm. Thank you for having me. You guys have been great. Thank you.
Oh, you're incredible. Thank you for joining us again.
Yeah. Thank y'all for listening. Go have some fun.